How to make cupcake liners at home. The sight of cupcakes decorated in festive colors brings to mind celebrations. Sweet treats are an inseparable part of holidays, birthdays, parties and anniversaries, and cupcakes are usually one of the more popular choices for any get-together. Cupcakes have an instant appeal to them. You can just pick them up and carry them with you around the party. No need for a plate or utensils. These are the ultimate finger food, and what makes them really special is that they can be decorated in an endless number of ways. It's the liners that make cupcakes portable and so perfect for events of any kind. The liners can be ornate and decorative or simple and disposable. The liners, while simple and functional, they do keep your hands clean while you eat the cupcake, can also be very stylish. Some liners are even more decorative than the cupcakes. Today, we want to talk about how to make cupcake liners, because they are fairly simple to make on your own. You don't need to buy them every time you want to make cupcakes. You could purchase cupcakes 50 or 100 at a time and save yourself some time, but if you want your liners to be something special, why not try your hand at making them on your own? It would be so much more rewarding, and the liners will become something more to you than just disposable components for your desserts. Of course, the best reason to know how to make cupcake liners is so that you never run out. You might hate that feeling you have when you whip up a batch of cupcake batter and fill up the liners you have in your cupboard only to realize you are just a few liners short to use out the entire batch of batter. You don't want to buy more liners at that point, because the oven is already preheated and ready to go, so knowing how to make cupcake liners saves us some stress, and we hope it will do the same for you. How to make parchment paper cupcake liners. Since cupcake liners are simply paper, you can make them out of all sorts of materials you may have lying around your kitchen. I think the easiest thing to make them from is parchment paper. You can use parchment paper for lining baking sheets so that your baked goods don't stick. Parchment paper is also used for wrapping baked goods and for baking fish. Most cooks have at least some parchment paper in their kitchen, which is why it is often the go-to option for homemade cupcake liners. Here is your step-by-step guide for how to make cupcake liners out of parchment paper. Open up your roll of parchment paper, doesn't have to be a full roll. With a pencil, mark off sections of 2 squares, standard cupcake liner size. Cut each square with scissors. Place the square liners into the cupcake/muffin pan and press down. Pro tip, using a cup or other appropriately sized round object to press the liners down makes for a beautiful, even fit and keeps the liners snugly in the holes. How to make cupcake liners with foil. We love aluminium foil as cupcake liners as well, and their shiny appearance makes for some adorable cupcakes. They perfectly accent cupcakes that are decorated with sprinkles or colorful frosting. So, you want to make cupcake liners with foil? Well, you will need a sheet of aluminium foil and then you can go through the same process as we listed above for the parchment paper liners. You can simply cut out the squares or circles to the desired size and pull those out to make your foil cupcake liners. Since this is foil you will be working with, there is an extra perk you get to enjoy that you don't get with paper. As we all know, aluminium sheets are very moldable. You can form them into any shape you like. To get yours to stay in that ideal cupcake shape, you can simply depress it down into the cupcake liner. Then, you have a perfect cupcake liner. Alternatively, you can form the aluminium around a cup or glass jar to get a different size. One tip for working with aluminium with baking is that you should coat the bottom of the liner with some grease. Use cooking oil, butter, margarine or cooking spray to coat the interior bottom of the liner lightly. You don't need much, just enough to cover the surface. And that's all. How to make tulip cupcake liners. If you have ever seen decorative cupcake liners, you may have wondered how the manufacturers managed to make such amazing designs. The tulip cupcake liner is one of our favorites, and we want to show you how you can make your own. While the design may look intricate and complicated to make, it's really not. You can start with your typical cupcake liner you made yourself. You may want to make it taller to pull off the tulip design, though, so we recommend cutting a 6 square or circle. Then, take one of your flat liners and cup it over a thin can, like a tomato paste can or a tall jar of olives. You can use a champagne flute glass as well for the same effect. You can use all sorts of objects for this. The important thing, though, is that they have to be thin and long. While your liner is wrapped around the object you have chosen, you can then fold in a clockwise direction to create the tulip petals. Try to keep each fold about the same size so that you get a uniform look. This should only take a few seconds, and you will get the hang of it quickly. Pretty soon, you will be making intricate-looking tulip cupcake liners in no time at all. If you have ever wanted to know how to make tulip cupcake liners but thought it would be too tough to do, now you know. Sizing your liners. How do you make sure your liners will be the right size, especially when you don't have a ruler handy? The simplest way is to use an existing liner and just make that your template. You can simply lay that over your parchment paper and use a pencil to trace around the edges of it. You can do this for all of your homemade liners to ensure they come out looking the same and to make certain that they are the right size. The liners should be 2 inches on the outside and then 1 1/4 inches on the inside. That's standard for cupcake, but you can make yours any size you want. Just keep in mind that they need to be able to fit into the cupcake pan and hold your cupcake nicely. How to make round cupcake liners. Now, you might be wondering why we are having you make square cupcake liners when cupcakes are supposed to be round. The square ones will look a bit different from the traditional cupcake liners, but they are definitely the easiest shape to make and ensure that you aren't wasting a bunch of material. If you want round cupcake liners, though, here is how you do it. The technical way, you can use a mathematical tool known as a compass to draw circles of any size you like. This tool can be set to make the right kind of circle, and it will be simple enough to use, but you may find it too technical and mathematical for your liking. If so, then you can try the other option. The simple way, round cupcake liners can also be made with a cup, which is an old baker's secret. You just take a cup with a base or mouth that is the right size and lay it down on your parchment paper or other material. Then, trace around the cup where it comes into contact with the paper. You will then have a perfect circle that is easily replicated. You don't even need an original liner to act as your tracing template if you use this method. Since cups come in all sizes, this is a very easy way to get cupcake liners of any size you wish. You would have to measure your liners or cups to know how large the liners are going to be, but eyeballing the cup sizes works for most people. You can always cut one test liner and place it into the cupcake pan to see how it fits. Well, we have shown you how to make cupcake liners and how to make cupcake liners without parchment paper, so you know all of the basic tricks at this point. You are ready to make them on your own, and we just know you are going to love how they look and be delighted by how simple they are to pull off. You may not want to buy cupcake liners in the store anymore afterwards.